The question I'll often ask, like back to the benefits package and back to job descriptions,
Yeah.
ask a founder, and if they answer this honestly, it tells you everything you need to know. Would you work for you? And it's like when you look like most top performers, it's like you want to work at a company that has at least some benefits or decent benefits or at least like market average benefits. And when you look in financial services, there's so many out there that just flat out have like nothing, no benefits. And then they wonder why they can't attract great talent in. It's like, well, great talent is not going to work for a company with no benefits. I mean, that makes no logical sense. So I love that you identified that early on. Um, One last question back to great talent, because that's one thing I've seen you are very gifted at. I feel like Michelle's like a filtering system that prospects come in and then you're like, okay, yes, fit, skill set, culture, probably a few other things, or no, not going to be a good fit for the team. Are there other tips you would give, let's say COOs, ops sort of people, HR sort of people of like, here are ways that I filter for great talent. And here's where I either say, yes, this one's a potential opportunity or no, they're not. Are they questions? Are they thought processes? How do you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think too, having Derek, Keith, Matt, and they had a fourth partner, as you mentioned, they did all the recruiting at first. And then these folks are no longer there. So I think they quickly realized maybe we're not the best at selecting talent, or maybe we're not looking for the right traits in a candidate, right? So, for me, I've been in HR for over 20 something years. So I've always recruited. So I've learned a lot. And I think one thing for me is I use Indeed. There's nothing fancy about it. I just use Indeed. They have some pre-filtered quizzes or questionnaires that you can ask a candidate beforehand. But it used to be free. You'd post an ad. Now you have to throw a little ad spend in there. But I would post the actual job description. I literally took the job description and posted it on Indeed. Just full disclosure, this is the role, this is where it is. I usually do phone interviews with candidates before they actually come in. So a candidate might send their resume over. I'll take a look at it. I'll go on social media and I'll look at Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and really check out the candidate and see if I can see anything, do I think they're going to be a good culture fit? I hate to say it, but even looks wise, are they going to fit in, with our culture here and my internal client? So we'll take a look there. And then from there, I'll do a phone call. I had one candidate, he looked fabulous on paper. And the minute I spoke with him, he interrupted me throughout the entire phone interview. And I'm like, wow, he's going to do that with a client. So he was, while he looked great on paper, it was just that initial phone call that saved me a lot of time and I didn't have him come into the office. But from there, I usually have them come into the office and I never interview alone. I always interview with my team. Our team it's not just my hire, it's the whole team's hire. And I need it to be a good fit with everybody. So I'll usually pull in different folks. I have a nice little questionnaire, give it out to everybody. I say, hey, pick 2 or 3 questions that you want to ask. Because some folks are like, I don't know what to ask, so I kind of prep them with that. And they ask a couple questions. And then I wait for the response back. Usually if a candidate doesn't respond like a thank you, I put them lower on the totem pole. I do not bring the advisor, the founding partners, Derek, Keith, Matt, I do not bring them into the interview process until the very last minute. Very early on, there weren't many of us. There was like maybe 10 of us. So I might, if I thought the interview was going fabulous, I might step out and say, hey, Matt, can you just pop in for like 5 minutes just to get like a gauge? Now, as we're bigger, I have the luxury of having more people in the interview with us. But I do have them, come back for a second round if I feel like they're great. And in between the first and second round, I usually give them a quiz of some sort. We just did this. We're hiring a advisory solutions team member right now. So yesterday I just administered a quiz to them, gave them a fictitious client situation. And I said, take your time. There's no wrong answer, but come back with what your recommendation would be on their plan. And I want to see how they write to me, how they address it to me. And I want to see what their thoughts are on it. So we do these little quizzes to them in between their interviews, just to kind of gauge if they'll be a good culture fit, et cetera. And then I usually have them back in and then the rest is history.